Last week was tax day for those living or working in the US. That includes professional baseball players just like you and me when it comes to filing taxes.
Tax day brings with it a lot of mixed feelings. Coincidentally, Orioles rookie phenom Jackson Holliday was called up just ahead of tax day. Here's what Holliday had to say about the call up.
Are you nervous?
Nervous? I mean, a little bit. Not too bad. Not as nervous as I thought I would be.
Reporters went on to ask about the looming tax deadline and the extra hours he had to put in to adjust his tax documents so late.
Yeah, it's exciting to be able to actually do that. Is it's really exciting, and yeah.
The start of the 2024 season has brought with it a rash of arm injuries for pitchers. Everybody's debating, is it the pitch clock? Is it cold weather? Is it what hasn't been explored? Is these injuries are happening very, very close to tax day. Pitchers have to file taxes too. Here's what many people don't realize.
They also make the US tax code complicated. Very complicated.
According to the IRS, it takes the average American about 11 hours to file their taxes. It's hard to convey how difficult and confusing filling out all those forms can be, while knowing that any mistake you make can land you in hot water with the feds.
Following Shane Bieber's injury, he pulled back the curtain a little, allowing fans a window into the conversations happening within the game regarding the impact of doing taxes on a pitcher's elbow.
I don't know. It's obviously the conversations are happening. They're continuing to grow louder, and they're happening quite a bit more often. So we'll see what's to come of it. For me, yeah, there's plenty of studies that have been made and plenty that will come. I'm not the first person that this has happened to, and I won't be the last. So hopefully we can continue to garner more information.
Federal investigators have also uncovered new information about the alleged stolen money by Shohei Ohtani's interpreter. Sources are reporting that the tax codes in Japan are far easier to navigate than in the US, and that the money from Ohtani's account was garnished by the IRS. Apparently, this is more common than people realize.
Income tax collection. It's hard to relax with those tax forms on your mind, but don't give up.
That is easier said than done. Filing taxes seems almost painful by design here in the US.
After a quick visit to H&R Block, Ohtani felt reassured that a 1040 EZ would be sufficient for filing taxes. But tax specialist Max Staber had this comment on the situation.
Your tax return, is in no way that simple. I don't care who you are or what economic situation you're in.
Ohtani has also recently been in the news for tax-related reasons. California lawmakers are seeking to close a loophole that allows Ohtani to avoid paying most of the taxes on his $700 million salary by deferring the majority of it. When questioned about using tax loopholes to Ohtani's advantage, Ohtani's attorney had this to say.
$1 million laws to avoid paying personal federal income taxes.
Of course I do. Of course I do. See, I understand the tax code better than anybody that's ever.
Finally, super agent Scott Boras has been fired by Jordan Montgomery, with perhaps more coming. Initial reports are that Boras was not able to sign clients for longer contracts worth more money. But more recent reports suggest that Boras lacked the knowledge and savvy to leverage tax loopholes to his client's advantage. Upon learning this information, here's what Montgomery had to say.
Yeah, Booney called me into his office, had Cash on the phone, and they dropped the news. So, yeah, I'm pretty shocked, but still setting in, I guess.
Folks, that's going to do it for news and notes today. Let's talk a little fantasy baseball. Adam, what do we got?
Well, we have some developments here. When we took a look last week, your two teams were pulling way ahead. And they're still quite a ways ahead, but my holiday team, 2023, is making a roaring comeback. My 24 team is really struggling in the dumpster right now.
Yeah.
How are you feeling about your teams right now?
My teams have been really consistent, but for my 2024 team, who's just, you can see 2 points behind. It's been the Kyle Tucker show this week. 38 fantasy points in 7 days, 18 total bases, 8 runs, 8 RBIs, only 3 strikeouts. He's had a monster week, and it's helped my 2024 team close the gap on the 2023 team.
It's 2 homers and 7 runs batted in.
Oh, there's a homer.
Tucker drives one deep to right center field, and Baggy called it off the bat. That snaps an 0 for 11 for Tuck.
Tucker, I'm sure, is not digging in. First pitch, and he cranks it right field, and a bat flip. Second decker for Tucker.
My holiday team has really come back on the coattails of my pitching, which has really come along. But offensively, Salvador Perez has had a really nice week, really consistent, hitting some home runs, had a really solid week.
His right-hander Severino. Fastball swung on, hit well. Deep left center field, way back, and that ball is gone. Perez. Salvi. First pitch drilled. Deep left center field. Fletcher looks up. It's out of here. Salvador Perez gives the Royals the lead.
So, Adam, let's talk a little strategy. We talked about bench players last week and the value that we have found in carrying more pitching. Pitching is critical to a solid fantasy baseball scoring line. What are you finding this season?
Well, when we first created these rosters, we both thought and expected that my 24 team would run away with things because the offense is so loaded. Rutschman, Freeman, Betts, Carroll,
Acuna.
Soto, Acuna, Matt Olson, like that, De La Cruz, like a full stacked lineup. But I've had difficulty finding starting pitching that's, consistent and bullpen pitchers that are consistent. And so you see the effect, feel the effect of having so little pitching. But if you were to pull out the stats on this, on our league, offensively, that 24 team is right up there, possibly the best in terms of offensive numbers, but by far the worst in pitching numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, the pitching for that 24 team for you has been really bad. I mean, beyond bad. And it shows up here. And so I know my first season when I played fantasy baseball, I did not understand the value, particularly of relief pitching. Starting pitching, you got to have good starting pitching. If you can get 15 to 20 points every time a guy starts, that's huge in your scoring for the week. But relief pitching, especially closers, you get 5 points for a save. It's huge. And so when you have a closer come in and he picks up a save, he gets the outs and the strikeouts, you get 11 points out of 1 inning out of a closer. So it's critical to have good pitching. I've been fortunate to have consistent enough pitching from some surprising sources that has allowed me to be consistent. Adam, are there any particular strategies that you're looking at for your pitching?
Well, one thing I've noticed for my holiday team is to really load up the bench with some starting pitching. So I've got, at any given time, 6 or even 7 relief pitchers running at one time, and then I just rotate between the bench and starting whoever's whatever starting pitcher is supposed to pitch that day. And that's been really effective for the holiday team.
Yeah, for me, I follow the same strategy. I put starters on the bench. I have 5-ish relief pitchers to maximize the points. There's no cap on the relief pitchers. And then I'm also looking for matchups. So anybody facing Oakland, anybody facing Colorado, the White Sox are terrible right now. So we hope that was helpful for you in your fantasy baseball team, how you manage your pitching roster in particular, looking for advantages. That's going to wrap it up for us this week. Thanks for joining us for the news and notes of the fantasy update. We'll have more next week. We'll see you then.